Right, 72% of sales professionals don't expect to hit their annual quota. So I'm not sure if you agree with this type of challenge, but when we walk into a new year, a new financial year, having about 72% of the population already feel deflated to say, I'm not gonna hit quota. It's too challenging, it's too tough, it's too big. My CRO is just dreaming about it. I'm not sure what they're thinking, and this is not gonna happen. It's quite challenging for revenue enablement or sales enablement, because what we actually want to do is to replicate success of that 30% or 28% in this case as much as possible and scale it to a greater extent. So at least this is what we are meant to be doing. We're meant to be supporting the commercial organization to ensure that we can actually drive revenue in rather than just feeling deflated. So starting with this type of challenge and talking about sales methodology can be convenient because sales methodology can actually give us a lot of help. And we'll try to see what sales methodology is, starting by a very swift definition by Gartner, which says that sales methodology are the guiding principle for how a sales organization engages current and prospective customers, dictates sales processes, and develops sales skills and enablement support. There are three keywords that I've highlighted in bold: how, processes, and skills. And these three are, to my knowledge or my opinion, the three pillars of any sales methodology that truly works. There's much more, but the how, the processes, and the skills joined together are actually the fundamentals for any sales enablement and any sales methodology program that can actually drive results and that can be measured as well. Because often one of the biggest challenges with sales methodology, I'm not sure if you agree, is how do we measure it? We just discussed how do we measure sales enablement, how do we justify, is it 1%, what is it? But how do you actually measure success for a sales methodology program? Before we go to the next, how many of you have actually implemented a sales methodology before? If you can, well, that's a lot, right? Thank you. And how many of you are actually going to implement it in 2024? Amazing. Okay, so sounds about right to have this conversation. Reality check. At least this is something that came to me in a harsh way. The first time that we implemented sales methodology was at a previous company. It was a big failure. And that's fine, because I'm still here, so I moved on. I don't work for that company anymore, so that's great. No, joking. But the reality check was that we went with the assumption that whatever sales methodology we would pick from a Google search, some sort of research, good conversations would be more than enough, because they've done their work, they've done the research, so we can just implement whatever they do. And there are so many sales methodologies out there. There is actually a stand outside, I think one of the sales methodology providers most commonly known. One size doesn't fit all. That was the first mistake that we made. This was about 8 years ago, 7 years ago. We thought that we have one sales methodology, we like it, we like the sound of it, it's gonna work. And it's gonna work for BDRs, it's gonna work for sales, it's gonna work for account managers, customer success, for everyone in commercial that has a quota, either net new or actually growth. Didn't work like that. The second one is that we hoped for the best, but we were expecting the worst. Because we said, okay, we don't have a lot of resources internally. The expectation at the time was, again, 7, 8 years ago, we were 2 people in the sales enablement team and about 600 people in the commercial org. And we thought, that's great, we just buy this sales methodology, it's gonna be amazing. And what we're gonna think is, we can hope for the best. If something happens, at least we grow. At least we have done something that we hadn't done before. Again, another mistake. So these two, for me, were the reality check. And that was the first time that I personally implemented a sales methodology. The second time, knowing these things from earlier, from before, we went and done a much deeper type of research. We really tried to understand more about the customer journey, the buyer's behavior, try to understand more about our customers. I'm sure that I'm speaking common language here, and you would expect, like, why haven't you done it before? I know, but we didn't. The key components for sales methodology again, personal opinion in this case, based on experience, are policies, processes, and skills. We said before that how, processes, and skills were the three keywords. Now we're trying to translate them more into a sales methodology language. We often refer to policies, processes, and skills as the three components for any sales methodology that truly wants to stick and wants to actually drive results.